Welcome back to Healthy, Happy, Wise, Wealthy. We have with us today Oz Konar with Business Lending Blueprint, and he is out of the East Coast near New York City.
Hmm.
So, and before we get started, Oz, I just want to say we have a podcast sponsor, an IT company I've worked with past businesses called Mindy, which is MIND with three I's, I. So they do everything. In fact, I just looked up what full stack means. Do you know what that means? I'm like full. They're
I've
like,
been
we do
learning.
full stack. You probably do know because
Yeah,
you're,
it's like if they do the front end, the back end, and everything, basically, the unicorns.
yeah. I mean, I actually did a business where it was a website business with selling furniture and decor. So I learned the front end of the store, the back end of the store is like
Yes.
the website, what they see, what you do in the back end, and then all the connections to everywhere people can buy outside of your website. So like setting up all that full stack. Okay, so I learned something I feel like I should have known before, but
Hey, it's never late, right? Like full stack
yeah,
is like the back end people work on the functionality, front end people try to make it pretty and sexy. That's how I know it. Like that's in my mind, that's how it works. Okay,
yeah,
functionality works, but it looks ugly. Then the other people come in and make it pretty, and the full stack is someone or some company doing all of that, which is super impressive.
yeah, yeah. So I thought that was impressive too. Once I looked it up, I'm like, oh, I that makes sense, and that's awesome. So okay, so Oz, tell me, business lending blueprint. So this has been going since 2018
Yeah, it's been a
when you
while.
started it.
Yeah, we started
So
out
that's
by accident, quite honestly. So I was in the
okay.
alternative lending industry already prior to, like, I founded my company 2014. Prior to that, I was a loan broker myself, selling the actual loans and hitting the streets, hitting the phones. Then I learned about marketing, took courses, and got some coaching because I was tired of doing door to door. Like, it's never that fun if you do it for a long period of time. Hustle is good, but if there's a long term strategy, it sucks. And then
Yeah.
I said, all right, this is cool, but I got to learn how to get in front of masses, and took courses on marketing, some mastermind. Then I noticed that in the alternative lending industry, a lot of the business loan brokers and lenders, they had no idea about marketing. They were like pretty much operating out of a boiler room, Wolf of Wall Street mentality, like go after them, smile and dial. So I set up a marketing agency to help them on online marketing. So that was like 3 4 years up until 2018. And to get the word out there about what we do, I was shooting videos, right? And
Mm-hmm.
something accidental happened, and I started attracting people who wanted to get into the industry. They're not in there, and they were like, wait, what are you talking about? This sounds attractive. I'm in finances, I'm in mortgage, I want to do that. And we started accumulating like a list of people, and I had no idea what to do with them. And then my assistant at the time, she was like, boss, maybe you offer them a training, like jump on a Zoom call and talk to them about what it is that you do. And I sent an email. It was a small list, and I said, "Are you guys like really, really interested about learning this?" Everyone was like, "Yes, yes, 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 yes." I said, "Okay, I can put together like an 8 week training. Nothing put together in a content. I'll just show up and talk about it and answer questions." We had like 38 or 40 people who bought it for like $1,900 or something like that back then. That's what I'm
Nice.
like, holy cow, there's something there. And it's slowly like then we were at like 2018, the first actual launch happened, and we never looked back. Ever since then, it's been growing. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, the marketing is fabulous. Like, I think whatever training you took on marketing, you have mastered. So, with that
Thank
different,
you.
yeah, the funnel marketing. So tell people kind of the base. It's basically you're helping people be their own lenders for
Not
for
really.
small
Initially, we're
business
helping
loans.
them become the middle guy or the girls, because businesses need capital, right? Especially small businesses. The big
Right.
problem is they can't really get it from the banks unless you have collateral to show your homes, cars, and equipment in the business, which is not most of the small businesses. Usually, mid-size and large-size businesses have all of that. But the 70% of the U.S. economy is small businesses, and when they apply for funding, there's really not much of an option for them, right? So we noticed that the banks, especially after 2008, the big bubble, basically the recession, all the banks restricted their funding to hedge their risk, and that impacted small businesses massively, and that created a sub banking industry. We call it the alternative lending industry. So these small businesses need capital, they can't get it, and then brokers are the middle people that connects the people who need money with the people who have money, the lenders. And these lenders could be small banks, private investors, venture capital, and things like that. And they're looking at the individual business, not like a banking decision, policy decision, individually underwritten and funded. So we're teaching people how to become the broker in between. And every time there's a transaction happens, like a small business gets funding, they make money. And over time, when they become like a full-time business loan broker, then they can also learn how to become a lender slowly if they want to do that. But our main focus is people who are either going through a career change or they're in a parallel industry like mortgages, finance, sales, or people who are happy with their business, but they just want to add funding to it, like accountants. Accountant is never looking to become a business loan broker, but they deal with customers who come to them saying, hey, Mary, how do I get funding for my business to pay the tax or hire more people and things like that? And they usually tell them, hey, just go to Bank of America, knowing that it's not going to help. So we also help them add a funding element, become like a broker through our system. Does that answer your question? Like what we do, like helping people break into the industry, understand it, have access to the lender network, because that's the big problem. When Mary decides to become a business loan broker, it's nice and dandy, but she probably doesn't know who funds what, and trying to figure it out, decipher it out of Google and ChatGPT will take forever. We handle all of that, and someone can come in and ready to go and focus on generating leads, and we do everything else basically.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So if someone is a small business and they're listening to this and they're like, I would like some capital, is there a place they can go to find a broker?
Yeah, they can go to our website. They can fill out the form basically if they're looking for businesslendingblueprint.com. So they can fill out the form and put an inquiry on what it is that they need. We usually ask like 5-6 questions. How long you've been in business? How much are you looking for? What are you going to do with the money? And how soon do you need it basically? So we can match it to a specific funding vehicle. Because if someone needs money yesterday, like an emergency, right? The fridge broke or the truck doesn't work anymore and they don't have time to go for like a government-backed funding like SBA, that could take like 8 weeks, right? So we can help them. Versus someone says, hey, I have this unique opportunity. My next door neighbor is moving out. I want to buy him out, like an expansion project. And that's like a larger project. So again, whatever they have going on, we want them to tell us the story of why they need capital. So based on that, we have about 12 different funding options, right? So we can match them to the appropriate, either the broker or the funding option. Or a lot of the people that we provide funding, they go, this is a cool business. Can I also do this and offer it to my customers type of thing?
Yeah. No, I can think of so many people that I think would want to jump on to help with that. And also I just, I'm in Reno now. I moved, I've lived in Atlanta, so East Coast, Central USA. So this is kind of new for me, but they have a huge entrepreneurial base of people.
Oh, interesting.
And it does really feel like people don't know where to get funding. And there's even events where there's, the investors and that kind of thing who are looking to invest. And it's still kind of like, oh, we got to find an investor. And this is, I think would be life-changing, I think, for a lot of people.
Could be, Mary. I think you nailed something. A lot of the times it's not that small businesses are picky. They just don't know how to get it. Like we funded thousands of people through our network. The question, like the comment we always get is, I didn't even know that this existed. Like they had no clue. They thought, well, if I need money, either I go to Google and apply for credit cards, like random credit cards to see if I can get it. Friends and family, maybe, right? If I have a rich uncle. Or the thing is, I'm going to walk into my local branch and apply, and they get disappointed and they think that's the end of the story. I can't get funding because the branch tells them, oh, you got to be in business for X amount of time. We got to see the financials and things like that. Yeah, that's cool and nice, but they don't have it yet, maybe, right? So,
right.
And then they're just kind of up against the wall. So whenever we we do our own events too. Like when we talk to people, a lot of times it's not that they're not interested, it's just didn't even know that alternative lending even existed, which is an interesting phenomena,
Yeah, that is for sure. That's an interesting phenomenon. And it just seemed like, and I've talked with somebody, the business I was doing marketing as I got here, which I kind of got out of that, but talking to business bankers also, and then talking to all the small businesses of different levels and even doctors' clinics and stuff like that were having a hard time getting lending.
Yes.
So it does seem like you have to not need lending before they're going to give it to you.
Yeah, like we found a lot of dentists that it just baffles them, right? When you think about a stable business, I would think of like a doctor's office, like they never shut down or anything like that. They usually have great credit, like very conservative people. They pay their bills on time. They go to a bank, like we were talking to a dentist. All he needed was a new dental chair, and depending on the type and model, whatever, they can go up to like 20, 30, 40,000, right? And this lady, she has the money, but she has enough financial discipline to know not to touch cash and finance it. She goes to the bank. Bank is like, yeah, we can't do that. She's like, wait, do you see my checking account? Like, I have money in there, right? I can just buy this cash. They're like, yeah, we need this. And she was like so disappointed. And we have like equipment financing funding option, right? We can literally look at the equipment, finance the equipment. When one of our brokers did it, she was like, it should be like this. Like, this makes sense. The bank doesn't make sense. I'm like, I know. That's just how it is, unfortunately. Like, they look at certain things, and they're nice people, but the bank managers, the person sitting in that chair, doesn't even understand. They just log in, check some things, and they say, we can't help. Like, they're not trained for that either. I think the reputation of the banks have been going down drain over the past couple of years. You probably noticed, right? So I don't see many people really enjoying their experience with the banks. They have like a major reputational issues. And it used to not be like that. Now it's like everyone is like, oh, my bank, I only go there when I need to. I don't like him. So then that's the like an inverse relationship that keeps growing the alternative lending industry. Now people are having the awareness slowly. Okay, I got to look at other options to see who can fund me. Because also there's the level of, I guess, awareness, and it's okay to grow through funding, right? So that was also a no in the past for small businesses. I'm going to bootstrap, I'm going to hustle. That's fine. But also you could actually, if the business is sound, the idea is sound, it's okay to grow through debt. Like, you're a business. It's not like you're taking the money and go on a shopping spree. Like, you're investing into the business. Like, let's take that dental chair. She knows that if she puts in that chair in that room, she's going to generate X amount of money, right? That's very clear. The return is there. It's not like she's trying to buy a fancy car with the money.
Right. Yeah, and that's such a safe investment to do that.
I don't know what else they need to do. Like, you become a dentist, go to medical school, and dental school, have been there for 10 years. Poor lady. She's like, what else do I need to do? I'm like, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nutty. So if someone goes, yeah, I definitely want to sign up to help to be a broker, what's the process to do that for them?
We have a lot of free information. We want them to build some kind of awareness on what we do. Obviously, they can listen to me here, but we have a YouTube channel. I have my Instagram. Our website has a lot of articles and posts. I want them to first understand the validity of my claim. Like, businesses need funding. Is it really true? Like, and you look at some of the numbers and the trainings, and also the results we get with ordinary people. Ordinary but ambitious. Obviously, if someone is like naturally lazy, don't want to do the work, this is not like a get rich quick opportunity. We're looking for people who work hard anyways, but maybe they might be on the wrong vehicle, right? So like transferring to that vehicle. And we have all the information, all the links to our organic channels, like if they want to just consume content. And then they can schedule a call on our website to talk to our team, so they can do like a demo of showing what it is that we do and decide if that's a fit or not,
Yeah. That's fabulous. So what is the investment for people who want to, or like, yeah, get me started?
Depends on the level they're getting started and what they're trying to accomplish, because we have people who just want to refer and earn, meaning they're not really interested in learning the nitty-gritty of the alternative lending. For example, someone with influence, right? They have followers, or they're head of an association, or they just know a lot of people. They say, hey, I just want to funnel people to you guys, and you guys do the work. That's different versus someone saying, you know what, I want to make a career change. I want to come in and learn. We call it the refer and earn, partner and earn, and broker and earn. Broker and earn is like the 360. You bring the lead, you get into underwriting, like we give the offer back to you, you close it, you make the full commission, versus someone who's the referral partner. These are usually professionals who do things. I mean, from the podcast that I've done, some of the people sign up for that too. Like I come across people naturally, and I'm not super interested in doing this as a career, but how do I channel some people, right? So depending on the level of involvement, then we decide, and also how much time they have. Like we have people who have 2 jobs, we have single mom with 3 kids and things like that. So we have those discussions to find out, well, based on if you have like an hour a day, it's going to be challenging for you to do some of the things that we ask you to do, but maybe you start at that tier. So we help them understand what goes into it, so they decide a package that makes sense for them.
That's so great that you have those different ways to do that. So, and just getting and it spreads the word out there, farther to more people who need it. So
one question people usually ask me, like, why not become like a big funding company? Why teach people? Well, when you look at the number of business loan brokers, we did this analysis. There's about 15,000 in the entire United States. And in our community, we have 7,000 of them, right? So in BLB, so most of them, a good chunk of them, obviously 50, 60% came from our network, right? So when you look at real estate, there's, I think, 3 million real estate agents. And last year, about 3 million homes were sold. Talk about saturation, right? So single-handedly, the dude Oz is not going to dominate the alternative lending industry, even if we become a funder. But if you kind of just have an army of people who are out there learning the business, making money, because we're barely scratching the surface, right? You're a savvy person too. Even you didn't know much about alternative lending, right? So you did marketing. So that's, to us, is like a massive opportunity for people to kind of go in and learn this. But I bet some real estate agents or insurance people, you come across them in the past. Like there's no way you would not have, right? So from your dealings. So that's why we're not even close to the level of matching the demand. That's why the community makes sense. So people go out there, learn the business, and we can fund in 50 states. Some of the deals can be international. So I think although it's been like 8 years now, we're barely scratching the surface. There's a lot we could be doing,
Yeah, that's so great. I love that so much. So tell me, like, the marketing angle that you take, is that part of the training that you do, or do people just kind of like come into your world and benefit from the marketing that you're doing? Because I would say, like, the marketing you're doing is a very great example of that funnel marketing, where you there's an email that goes out, you have someone call. I know this because I signed up when I was looking into your stuff. So people are going to see you for a long time, once they express some interest. So how does that work for anyone who joins?
When someone joins, we set them up with a coach. We meet them where they are as far as like level of savviness, right? So we have people who come from a marketing agency world. They just want to run some ads similar to what we do and kill it, like, because the cost per lead is like super low, because basically money is the sexiest product you can sell, right? So like we're looking for people who need money. Others who come from events background, like they're more like want to be out and about and meeting people, chamber of commerce. So we design their marketing approach. It's not like one size fits all. My background is marketing, like I told you before, so it makes sense for me to do somewhat decent marketing, because that's what I used to do for other companies, right? We also teach our members how we do what we do, and we give them so many different ways of generating leads. And honestly, in this industry, it's one of the easiest industries to generate leads. If you go to like a chamber of commerce meeting, everyone in that room is a potential client, because we even have like pre-revenue startup funding. Even if they don't have a business, if they have a business idea, we can provide funding, right? So when I tell my people, like, if that's your thing, I'm naturally an introverted person. I hate going to events. But when I first started out, I didn't know much about the whole marketing. I was at the events, and it was magical what it did. I did like 3-4 months of going to different networking events. New York is across the border from me. I signed up so many referral partners, like people who didn't want to truly understand alternative lending, but they kept saying, I got people, dude. I cannot just send them over to you. And then a few months into it, I didn't even have to go to events anymore. Like the residual effect, the flywheel effect, that my phone was ringing. People are sending me text messages. Hey, man, I got Mary who's interested in funding. Can you call? So like it can be relatively as simple as that, or you can do what we do, like retargeting, email marketing, video sales letters, and things like that. So that's why we have an individual coach assigned to each person. So we want to understand their background, what they want to do. Some people don't want their face all over the place, like me, right? So like, fortunately or unfortunately, you'll be seeing me for a while. Good luck with that. But some people just don't want that for themselves, you know?
Yeah. I just had, well, actually, this week I had a podcast come out that was basically Dan Rashawn's his name, but he's like, I thought it was remarkable because I've done a lot of different types of sales, from door to
Ah,
door sales to selling on a website,
nice.
to going and meeting people, to, phone calling. Just like there's a million different ways you can get out there. So he said, and you're kind of saying the same thing, but he's like, write down, what everyone says you're good at on one sheet of paper, and then on another sheet of paper, write down every possible way you could market, from radio, television
Yeah.
advertising, to going to networking, to picking up the phone and calling, to going knocking on businesses, and then match them together. And whatever is your personality that matches with this, that's your business model. And
Wow, that's impressive.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. Like, it totally simplifies it.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
I
Because
was
what I
like,
tell my students is like, let's take you, Mary, right? So when I talk to you, when we do a session, 1 through 10, I'm trying to find the skills that you're at 8 or 9 already, right? It could be a great public speaking, or like you said, phone sales. I'm like, all right, we're gonna lean on them, but maybe you don't do as well in one-on-one versus the group, right? And that's at 2. Well, there's no point in me trying to get that 2 to 8, because you have other stuff going for you. I can talk until I'm blue on the face, but if your skill set on that is very low, it's going to just not only go over your head, but it's going to start frustrating you, because pushing you out of your comfort zone a little too much, right? But you have a lot of other things going on for you. So it's the same thing as me talking to someone who doesn't even use Facebook and trying to teach them how to do Facebook ads. Like, the person is not even on the platform, right? That's like going to be very difficult, because the skill set is zero at that point.
yeah,
But
yeah,
they might know a bunch of people, and maybe in the past life they did mortgages, or they used to be the head of an association, or they did door sales and things like that. We can be like, all right, we don't want you to do telemarketing and cold calling, but let's look at your zip code and find some strategic events for you to go through. Or we have people who are like, I call them the manager type. They don't want their face anywhere. They don't want to talk to people, right? They're not people person, but they do an amazing job managing systems, more like technical, analytical people. Then we tell them, let's lead with the brand. Maybe you hire like a virtual assistant or someone who can do the marketing. You kind of manage the system, the pipeline behind the scenes, right? So when you
yeah,
do it that way, people do not get overwhelmed, versus me saying, you got to be just like Oz. Just go out there and talk in front of the camera. That would scare the crap out of most people. Like, they don't want to be in front of the camera. Like, that's not
right.
their norm. What you and I do is not the norm, as you know. Like, most people don't do this.
No, they and would not want to,
No,
and many sales managers look down on it.
very true.
So yeah, I've done a lot of different type of sales. Well, and part of it is because I took about 14 years ago. I'm like, I want to do acting. So acting as a career means you
Ah,
have to have another career. And so I've kind of
so true.
yeah, so I've kind of put acting on a little bit of a hold. I still do a little bit. It's so you have to you build a base of another business. So I've been trying to do that, and I took different sales jobs and realized that so many managers are they're like, this is the one way to do it, and the training isn't very good, and they're very stuck in the one way we're going to do this, and there's no other one. So that is also another good reason to start your own business, in my opinion.
Yes.
Or you got to find someone who's really aligned with doing business the way you want to do business. So if they're aligned with you at the way you want to do it, that might work. But I think starting your own business is and I'm doing several podcasts right now on start your own business,
Wow.
move it forward. How do you do it? Because in general, we haven't been, of course, trained on that
No.
in any kind of educational sense. So you're taught a skill, but you're not taught the business stuff around it.
Hmm.
So I think this the whole concept of let's help each other and teach each other how to do the business side of it, and start that. As we're on the verge of AI or whatever people might be worried about
Hmm.
with their income source, then let's lean into each other.
I think
Let's find our own
entrepreneurial is the
funding. Let's
yeah, yeah.
you
Get the
know
capital, and Like the whole AI discussion, Mary, it's interesting. Like I know people usually fear things that they don't understand, right? So I don't think, besides maybe like 100 people, no one really knows what's going to happen, right? So like a
No.
couple of years from now, it's going to change. A few people probably know, but I'm certainly not one of them. So given that knowledge gap, what do we do? The best thing you can do is stay close to it as much as possible instead of demonizing it or fearing from it. Like find an angle. Like what we're doing on our end is we're using AI to streamline underwriting. We created AI bots for our members to use as a learning opportunity. So I uploaded all
Mhm.
my trainings into an AI, created like an Oz bot basically, so they can chat as if they're talking to Oz. So like, I tell all my people too, like, yeah, we don't, it could good, bad, or ugly, but don't forget that it's gonna create massive amount of opportunity, right? So you don't want to be
For
someone who's on
sure.
the sidelines saying that, oh yeah, it is scary. What if I lose my job? Don't take that risk. Like start your own thing and find an angle that you can get involved. I know it sounds kind of generic advice, do some AI. No, but try to, even if you understand it at the 2%, 3% level, it's way better than not knowing anything about it and then waiting for stuff to happen to you, right? Then when it happens, it is kind of late. Like then you're going to rush because the finances will start drying up. You don't have a job anymore if you're in a job market. But it's far better to either find a company who's AI first or AI optimized if you don't want to become an entrepreneur, or find an angle to learn the basics. And I guarantee anyone, regardless of your background age, you can learn. It's just being
Yeah.
intentional. But if you
Yeah.
start with the mindset of it's too advanced for me, oh, I can't learn it, that's not helping you, right? We're going through a
Yeah.
change, similar to how we went through a change when internet appeared, then the smartphones. I know this is a lot faster than that, a lot bigger than that. When you don't know what it is going to do, it's better to try to understand it, honestly.
Yeah. No, I agree. Sometimes I use, I think we all to some degree are using AI. It's an automation, right? So,
Hmm.
we look up something on Google, it gives you Google AI. So
Sure.
we're all using it. Um, so it's very interesting from the different perspectives because like the business side that I have, mostly entrepreneurial type people, salespeople here in Reno that I know, they're so excited about AI. It's like,
Yeah.
the sunrise of civilization. And then, the creatives with actors and stuff like that, they're saying, hey, the first thing we're going to cut is the creative side, which is honestly ridiculous because no one wants to watch we all want
No.
to see a real face.
Yeah.
We want to hear a real human story. But there's all that, um, and we had strikes and stuff like that a few years ago too to go like let's not do this. But it has started like with voiceover.
Hmm.
It's usually AI voiceover now versus that being as much of an industry. And I know writers have been hurt, so it's more. So like they're very fearful to very excited. So
Yeah.
um, it is it's just a change. And in my opinion, we're going to just have to make sure, with what's going on, that we are dealing with people and businesses that we want to deal with.
Hmm.
So maybe not as much of the big stores and stuff that the money's going who knows where, but not to our neighborhood, not to people
Yeah.
we know, not to another, you know, not to another human where we know the human. So, but up the chain. So more local, more people we know, more integrated, kind of with finding our network.
Yeah.
So
And I think human to human, I mean, look at what happened during pandemic, right? Before the pandemic, everyone wanted to be home and on their own and things like that. And 2 weeks into it, people are craving to see each other.
oh yeah,
We're social animals at the end of the day, right? So that's just
right,
how we're designed and made. Like it's in our DNA.
right,
So I don't think that whatever you can do to stay connected to other humans, and like my take is augment AI into your life. So instead of worrying that, oh, human beings will not exist anymore, that's such a drastic belief. Could it happen? Yeah, every species ends at some point, but you can't design your life based on that probability because if we're not going to exist, there's not much you can do anyways. We're all dead, right? But let's
yeah,
not go there. But let's start with what we can control, right? So, okay, so it is happening. Then how do I stay on the side of the change versus just fighting against it or kind of completely giving up? That's not a good idea. Start a business, talk to other people, because people will need people. And then I think more we have AI, more people will need these authentic human conversations. They're gonna like we have events. We're seeing a massive spike in our event attendance. You would think that, like, logically thinking, well, I mean, they can do all that stuff from AI. They can talk to AI 24/7. But why is someone going out of their way, spending money, traveling, staying at a hotel, which is not the most comfortable experience, to talk to another human being? So, like, that's just how we are wired. And then if you're staying on that side and using AI to help you, I think we'll be okay, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yes, AI should be the assistant, and then human beings are we're the main event.
That's we are. That we were very unique. Yeah. Too unique
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. I also really sometimes think it's overstated how effective it is. I mean, I don't know. Like I tried. It took me 3 hours to make this simple little. I did Gemini. Okay, Gemini is supposed to be the best, and I was just playing around making a social media post. It took me 3 hours using.
Wow.
I'm like, and you put into Gemini, you're misspelling this word, spell it this way. Forget it. Like, forget it. So like, I'm going to Canva. I mean, like, it's just, it took, so sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I actually need it to be a little bit smarter than it is actually for some of these things still, but at least what's available to us,
Yeah,
I
I think
see.
human adoption to technology is kind of slow, in my opinion, right? Like, look, how long have the websites been around? Like, really long time when you think about it, right? How many
Yeah,
businesses have amazing looking websites? Very few. Like,
very few.
very few. Is it because technology is not there? No, far from it. Like, you can build something, you can hire someone. There's like Fiverr, like there's like so many places, or you probably know someone who can do it. But
Yeah.
just because
Or
it is
Mindy,
there,
because they're inexpensive too. They're out of India, so that
yeah,
helps.
yeah. So that's
There
me
you go.
too, right? So there's just so many ways. And when you look at the small businesses, like when I look at somebody's website, it looks like Craigslist. And then you're like, hmm, interesting. I think the similar thing will happen. The change will happen maybe for people who are in AI. Like sometimes you hear Elon Musk, 3 years from now, there's going to be no surgeons, right? I'm like, all right, maybe technology will be there, but for the policy, then, regulations to pass for an AI to operate on someone, and people allowing that to happen will be a lot further than that. Maybe he's talking
Right.
from the side of the development, like the capability of doing it. But I think I don't think we have as little time as they make it look like for the change, right? I think that's
Yeah.
creating a lot of. I was reading an article how AI is perceived in US versus in China, right? I think US has a branding problem with AI. They're just using too much fear mongering almost, right? Like about AI. A lot of people are like very scared. In China, the perception was like 70-75% people, oh, this is going to help me live better. It's going to do this. Versus in the US, oh my God, my acting job is going to be gone. Or the AI is going to replace all the voice actors and things like that. Could it? Yes. But then there's also uniqueness, and things have a very delayed output in human experience, right? I think some people will still be trying to catch up to ChatGPT 5 years from now. Like that's just how we usually operate in masses.
No.
Very
Right.
small percentage will knock it out of the water, but that's always the case,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the fear-based stuff is clickbait, and in the US, it just seems like that's all we've had and
It
all we
sounds
do.
like it. From news to AI stuff, right? It's always like it's the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's very, very true. So, and part of what I did with marketing too, going back to the websites, is that the number one thing, like if you think you're going to like start doing any kind of advertising at all, like how are people, and it goes down to, if you want to build a business, how do people find you?
Mm.
And they're either going to walk into your store, a physical location, or you're going to have a website, some presence like that. So, and like you said, like if I go to your website and it doesn't look great, it's maybe better than not having a website. So maybe people are just making their own websites because they think they can, and they can, but then it's trying to like, okay, how are people going to find you? Like there's all these different things with Google and Bing and whatever. Like is they're looking, their bots are looking to see if your interface is interactive.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking to see if you're updating the website. They're looking for your privacy statement. They're looking for backlinks, internal links, backlinks outside. They're looking at all this stuff. And if you don't have those things on your website, then people aren't going to find you when they go searching, for something. So maybe people don't know that either. But I've said to many people, you're not ready to do marketing.
Yeah.
I will make money on marketing you, but you can't, you're not ready. You're not ready. You must go fix this first.
Yes. Yeah. Marketing gets the eyeballs. Sales turns eyeballs into money, right? So like when you get the eyeballs, you kind of want to look pretty. Like, because that's just what it comes down to, honestly, right? So when everyone is so focused on, I got to get traffic. Yes, but when you get the traffic, what do you look like? Like that, maybe fixing that first is a good first step. Like because that traffic might not convert into sales as much as you thought it would if the look is not that attractive.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so going back to what you do, so do you feel like there's a point where the money is going to like kind of dry up, or is there just going to be plenty of money coming back into the system for small business owners? Like how is that looking?
Well, I look at the investments in the alternative lending industry. We have more lenders being formed than ever before. I think the belief is that banks will kind of keep failing people and disappointing it. And when I first started, which is not that long ago, like 10 years ago, in the grander scheme of things, it's a very short amount of time. People had difficulty even believing in alternative lending industry being real. Now we're at a point that when they look at it, they're trying to find a better funding option in the alternative lending industry, right? So I think that trend will continue. I can't foresee beyond 5 years. Honestly, a lot is changing, but for the next 5 years, there's going to be like a massive demand, especially where you live, right? You probably see a lot of AI first companies, like entrepreneurial people. Even this year so far, we see, oh my God, a drastic increase in number of new businesses. And new business means new money being needed, new equipment, new software, new employees, and things like that, right? So we're going to see that drastic effect of people utilizing AI or related products to add to their business or fix their existing business or start new businesses. And that's going to add to the economy quite a bit. Like obviously some will succeed, some will fail, but from my perspective, that creates a lot of opportunity. And the other thing, we experienced this during the pandemic. The busiest time we ever got at BLB was during the pandemic, believe it or not. And the reason why is, yes, people got money from the government and whatnot, but people finally noticed that the jobs that they deemed secure was not really secure.
Mm-mm.
They were like, just like that, they were out. And some of them didn't make it back, right? That fear, finally, it was like a wake-up call. Oh, shoot, this happened. Now I got to fix it. We see like a spike of new businesses being formed immediately during that time. I think we're on the verge of something similar, like it's going to take off. It has already been kind of following it, regardless of what's happening, like the politics, the wars and all that stuff. We're seeing like an awakening of this entrepreneurial spirit more and more. That definitely helps more lenders, helps us as business loan brokers, and help people get access to more capital. Because if there's more demand, the alternative financing industry will get more creative to provide funding, because that just helps everyone.
Yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, there's all this stuff going on in the world, but you have to pay your bills and you have to eat.
Yeah.
So like, how do, like plant a garden if you can, grow some stuff if you can, like, why not? Because what we're being fed is awful too. So like, just like I think about that, I'm like, I have some land. I wish it was closer. I'd be planting all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I was one of the people that started a business in 2020, and it was because, of course, I was in acting. Acting is shut down. You can't do big group stuff.
Yeah,
that's completely shut down. And then also in the acting community, you got to have so many people work. Some of them do real estate, some of them run classes, a lot of them are in the restaurant industry because it has to be flexible to go do then the work. Everything is shut down, right? So I got my real estate license December 2019. I got into a good agency December 2019.
Nice.
onboarded for a couple months, and then it's COVID and everything shut down. So that's when I started an online store, because like, what are you gonna do? Like everyone, you gotta do something, right?
You
You
got
gotta
to
do
do
something
something. Yeah.
to move forward. You gotta do something. So that's a unique situation, obviously, and most people aren't finding themselves in that. But AI can help you start a business. Like the automations are there enough now, and I just had someone on who's a lawyer who's was talking about how to start an LLC and different ways to protect your money as you move forward, and then had someone on talking about sales and how you do that, and I've had another one coming on who's talking about managing the different more the checkbook type stuff
Mm.
and how to get the money set aside and do that right. And then another one coming on going, yeah, go ahead and buy into a franchise. And I'm going to teach you how to go from operator to owner and do all this stuff, and then having you on too. So we're having some really good conversations around, go ahead and start something and keep your job or have another way of income if
Absolutely.
you need that.
Yeah.
And
Don't burn
then
your ships initially, because entrepreneurship takes some
it's tough.
trial and error, especially
Yeah,
if you don't get proper coaching. Like all my life, I
right.
always paid for coaching, because I don't think we have long enough lifespan to figure stuff out on our own through trial and error, and things change a
Right.
lot. It is always better to learn from someone who's ahead of you in that specific realm, than
Mhm.
you saying, I'm just going to all figure it out. I know a lot of entrepreneurs are super self-confident people, but there's a place for confidence. There's a place for like ego getting in the way. Sometimes people get in their own way, thinking that they know everything, but entrepreneurship will kind of rub your face in the mud if you look at that way, right? Because it's different, probably different than what you've done before. It's just finding
Mhm.
that happy medium. That's why I never tell people, oh yeah, you can just quit what you're doing and do this 100%. No, it's okay. What you're doing is probably as not horrible as you think it is. All you have to do is just create an option for yourself. You have an exit. Most people don't even have an exit unless they get fired, then, or like COVID happens, like in acting, right? Then you're like,
Yeah.
all right, we're doomed. But human beings, we survived through the freaking ice age, like it can get really, really bad.
Yeah. So we can become just stronger in mentally stronger, physically stronger,
Mhm.
just financially stronger, all the different whatever we got to do, and keep moving forward. So, yeah, I'm telling you, I made all the mistakes. I feel like so. I am not here telling people I know everything. You learn a lot of wisdom from making mistakes too. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
But you want to
I'm
limit them to a point that it's not catastrophic, right? I make mistakes all day long, but at least if you surround yourself with people who can catch it, because
Mhm.
mistakes are fine, but honestly, it's not everything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Some things that doesn't kill you can make you paralyzed and you can't do stuff anymore, right? So that
Oh yeah.
whole
Oh
you got
yeah.
to be careful the size of the mistake that you make. Like mistakes, no matter what kind of coaching you get, you're gonna make mistakes, but some mistakes can push you back 10, 15 years. So that's the part I'm concerned about, like with people, right? So
For
no one
sure.
can guarantee that, oh, it's gonna be a rose garden and everything's gonna go well. Yeah, but it's one thing to be delayed for a few months because of a hiccup versus be completely wiped out financially and starting from scratch at a time like this when things are changing. Those are the ones I'm like, all right, not every mistake makes you stronger, buddy. Like, calm down and let's get a plan.
Yeah. No, I'm such a big proponent of that. And so many of these things that I've done or tried to do, some things like real estate, you'll have people guiding you because there's lots of that. And acting, actually, there's a lot of support and learning too. But
Mm.
um, an online store, not so much.
Nah.
No idea. And no one and it's not like I come from a line of people who are trying to really do any of these things either.
Yeah.
So you do have to go out and find support and podcasts or watch your YouTube channel or just,
Experts in
start
a specific niche
start
area.
yeah,
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
diving in to different things like that. I is such a so much wisdom in that. Get in a circle of people. And I've found a lot of that in Reno, which I'm glad, the circle of entrepreneurs. So that's really good. I have another question for you. So if someone is like, I have money and I don't know that I want to have it all in the stock market right now or something like that. Like I want to take some of the money that I have and invest it in a different way. Are you someone that they can contact to go, how can I be part of the lending side of this? Is that something else they can do, or how would they do that?
Yes and no. So we have people who started out as business loan brokers. Now they become funders, but we don't really want outside. There's no shortage of money in alternative lending industry. All these hedge funds and banks, they have the money, right? So it's not like they need outside capital. And then we also don't want to get involved with other people's money who don't understand our business, right? Because the risk factors are different and things like that. Because when you look at stock market, crypto, and there are a lot of experts on it, so there's a lot of historical data, you can study that. Our industry, there's a lot of historical data, but it's very different than how you analyze a stock ticker, right? So we only allow that to happen if someone has been doing this for a while. They understand the underwriting aspect and all that, because we get all these requests like, oh, what if I throw some money at this and you guys give me a return? We're like, no, we can't deal with this because you don't know anything about this industry, and then it's gonna strain the relationship because you just heard about this. I invest a lot of my money into alternative lending industry, but I have 10 years of experience, so I know the risk that I'm taking, right? So it started out as like I told you, the salesperson, the marketer, the coach, and then an investor into this. Like a lot of my money is we're funding small businesses in the US. Like last year, I think we funded like 600 businesses. But I can confidently say that I know what the heck I'm doing, like, because I've been on all parts of the funding game, right? Someone coming from outside, I know maybe there are companies who promote it, but I'm very cautious when it comes to, because there are a lot of people with money and they want to throw it at us. We're like, first of all, we don't need it. Second of all, you not knowing what you don't know is going to be a problem. We don't want to be in a situation a year from now that someone is freaking out because they don't understand how this game is played, because some of our fundings are only for 3 to 6 months. Some of them are 2 years, some of them are 10 years. And there's a lot of complexity, and we don't want business loan brokers to focus on it. We want them to focus on making money, funding deals, but a few percentage of them will want to understand that part. We usually do like events to show them like the back end of how this machine is working. And then we have members, probably a dozen members who put their money into it. For example, someone comes in making $5K a month. Now they're making $50K a month, but they've been in our network for 3 years. And the amount they need to keep their standard of living could be, let's say, $15K, right? They should tell Oz, I'm accumulating like $30K plus per month. Do I go buy a house or what? I'm like, you can go buy a house. Obviously, I'm not an expert on that, but you made that money in this industry. It kind of makes sense investing into what you know. And then, slowly become like a partial lender. We call it like partial syndication partner, then full syndication, and turn it into a lender. So we follow a path for people to go through that. I know that was like a very broad answer to your question, but does that make sense?
No, that's actually a very good answer. So what I'm hearing is get involved in the industry and figure out if you want to first, and then figure out if that's a place to put your money. Otherwise, don't
because you don't know what you don't know. Whether you get involved with us or do it on your own, I'm not saying this for you to join BLB, but at least look into the industry and do a lot of research. Some people, we have like one of the partners who do syndication. She came in as a student. She funded big deals, and she's literally an official economist, right? That's her background. And she crunched the numbers. She's like, all right, I'm ready to do this now. And she attended like 2 live events. She asked the right questions. Someone like that came in and blew it out of water. And now she doesn't even do brokerage. She's just doing the investment part of the things, right? There is money to be made there, but I'm always cautious making that kind of recommendations, making it sound like, oh, Mary, you have money, throw it in, we got you. That's not what we're about.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oz, this is really, really good information. Thank you so much for sharing it. What else should people know?
I guess at the bare minimum, understand. I hope people fix their relationship with money, right? For example, if you follow someone like Dave Ramsey, like cut your credit cards, bad as debt, know that it's not bad advice. But if you call yourself entrepreneurial, it's not really designed for you, right? Entrepreneurials are people who take risks, and without money, your chance of success is very low. So I'm a big supporter of financial literacy, right? We be careful who you get your advice from. If you have an employee mindset, if Dave Ramsey is saying save money, make the payments, don't have any debt, it makes sense for that segment of the market. I never think that he's a bad guy. But if you're trying to be an entrepreneurial and following the wrong people, then you're kind of programming yourself for not taking any risks. Just have an open mind to understand how lending money works, and whether you become a business loan broker or not is not the thing. Because in my past, Like my family filed for bankruptcy because my father, although he was an amazing butcher, like he was a skilled artist, his business failed because he didn't understand credit. He didn't understand money, right? Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you understand the money game, which is a big part of our life. So whoever's listening, maybe you're saying, obviously, Oz, I know that, but I can't tell you how many people don't even understand that part. Like, how do businesses get money? Even if you look at big businesses, a lot of them start with debt and they have a great idea. They build off of that. You can't wait for the perfect moment. You can't kind of save your way up to getting rich in a way, right? So you got to take some action. Just be very careful who you follow. If you're an entrepreneurial page, follow some entrepreneurs, not other people. Like I see a lot of confused people like trying to save. I'm like, dude, you're making 50K a year. How much can you potentially save to improve your life? Like, yeah, cut down on your Starbucks or your Netflix. But at the end of the day, even if you eat nothing, you will have saved 50K and be dead. Versus versus you can figure out a way to make additional 50K so you can still buy your Starbucks, right? That's my approach. Sorry, didn't mean to go dark on you.
Oh, that's so funny. That's just, I love that so much. Oh, yeah. Well, and I had someone on the podcast, Al Zenick, and they're doing a cake club app. They started a new app, but he was saying the same thing, cash flow. So it's like, I love it when guests say exactly the same thing. Cause it's like, okay, we're on to something. You know, you use debt wisely to build. And it's versus Dave Ramsey lived in the same town where I raised my kids. So in Franklin, Tennessee. So that, I've heard him speak live and all kinds of stuff. And it is pretty restrictive some of the things. It's not a bad, mindset to just not, don't just accumulate debt and just spend and spend and spend. So have some idea what you're spending. But I love that you're saying the same thing Al said, which is cash flow is actually what you're going for. So you're going to need some money. You're going to need some debt, right? You're going to need a loan. You're going to need something to do that. So you got to look at the different things, and it's more of a management of money.
It is, or like being resourceful. Like if you lack something, let's say you're not making enough money and you're in debt every single month, like month is longer than your paycheck and you're like minus 1,000. Instead of looking at this saying, I got to save on our coffee, look for a way to make additional $1,000 on the side, right? So that mindset shift is usually all there is to it. I'm not saying that set a goal to become a millionaire, but look at your finance and be like, shoot, okay, I want to live at this standard reasonably, but I don't make enough money. You have two options. Go get a better job if that's your boss is not being fair, right? If that's the case, or figure out something on the side to make additional 1,000, 2,000, so that fear of non-existence doesn't hit you, because lack of money creates that fear, like people usually experience when they're about to die, right? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, the panic. When you're in the panic mode, you don't really make the best decisions for yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. But when I say financial literacy, I'm not trying to turn the entire universe into becoming a business loan broker. More like, hey, what is the issue? Let's just change our frame of thinking to be more resourceful. Like, how do I add 2K, 3K per month? That's going to give you some breathing room. Then if you manage to pull 3K per month, I bet you can raise that to like 10K per month, because you accomplish something, you fix your own problem. Then you can decide, I want to make 15K, 20K, but we need that stepping stones. We don't want someone to say, I'm making X amount, I want to be a millionaire. That gap is big, right? But start the gap a little slow and stack it up, and you'll get there, right? The average time for someone to become a millionaire is 6 years, like from start. That's a long time. And people usually quit on month 3. You know why? That's the issue, because they set the goal far too out there. Even their subconscious mind says, that's BS, Mary. We're not going to get there, right? So you have to sell it to yourself and start small and stack those little wins. Then it's going to catapult into bigger wins. So your normal will change. Oz making 5K versus Oz making 25K per month will be a different person with different skill set, but it takes time to get there, and it's okay,
Yeah, for sure. That's such good advice. It's just such good life advice too, and such good entrepreneurial advice.
Thank you.
Yeah, love that so much. Okay, so find you on businesslendingblueprint.com, and then you have the YouTube channel. Is it the same name? What's that?
We direct people to YouTube channel from our website. So
Oh, okay.
YouTube channel is under my name, Oz Konar, but we have like 550 videos there, more content than people want. So you can go through, see similar people to your life story, like how they progressed. Most of it is like me interviewing our actual students and their life story and why they made the switch. I think that's going to give people a lot of inspiration on what's possible, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Any parting words for everyone?
No, you asked the last one and it took me 10 minutes to explain. So you got
I
to
know.
be cautious. Yeah.
I know. Well, that was so good. I'm like, wait, maybe there's more,
There's always more, but yeah, I
There's
think
always
that's
more.
I don't want to pollute the messaging. Like, just clearly define what entrepreneurship is. Like, if you're watching Shark Tank, you might think that you need this big hit. It's usually not that. Like, starting small, like taking some kind of action, and kind of facing the fear, because there are two types of fear, right? Fear of losing, or fear of starting something, and that fear of not knowing what you don't know. I rather have that fear than saying I'm not prepared and oh my god, I'm losing grip type of thing, right? So we're going to have to push ourselves out of our comfort zone either way. Just kind of initially choose your pain. That's what I'm trying to be as realistic as possible, right? It's not going to be like immediate rose garden, but if you stay where you are, you're going to experience some level of pain. It's better to kind of face it head on with whatever you have, right? So even if you have like 5 hours a week, I know everyone is busy, try to do something with that entrepreneurial, and figure that out. We have a lot of people who can only spend like 1 hour a day, right? We still customize a plan for them, because my goal is to make sure that we create that awakening on financial literacy. I have options. I can create options. And some people take it and run with it and build a 7-figure business. Others save their financial future, pay off debt, leave something for their kids and things like that. I don't know what it is for you, but I think that level of thinking is far better than just staying in scarcity mode and just fearing of what could happen.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Oz, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And thanks for coming on, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks so much, Meyer. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Did you like that? You can watch more episodes here, subscribe over here. We actually have new episodes with awesome guests every Thursday, so check back in. Is that all?